Recently in Glitch Direct, they announced the release date for episode 8 and showed some mysterious images that instantly got the whole community talking. But before you get too hyped, those teasers weren't actually new footage. They were reused shots from episode 6. Pretty smart move by Glitch and Gooseworks because episodes 7 and 8 are connected like a two-part story. If they revealed anything real from episode 8, it would completely spoil what happens in episode 7. So instead of guessing too much, let's focus on what we can actually expect from episode 7 before it finally comes out. Episode 7 represents a turning point. We're moving into the true storyline of the amazing digital circus. Everything up to this point has been set up. Now we're getting into the substance. Let's start with the character who needs the most attention, and that's Jax. Episode 6 made it crystal clear that his facade is cracking. We've watched him use cruelty as a defense mechanism, but that moment with Pomni revealed something much darker underneath. Here's what we know about his backstory. Jax lost his best friend Ribbit to abstraction, and that trauma fundamentally changed who he is. Kaufmo's abstraction only reinforced his worst instincts and pushed him further into this defensive shell. He's adopted this nihilistic persona to protect himself from getting hurt again, but the irony is that it's destroying him from the inside. That panic attack we witnessed, that wasn't a one-time thing. Jax is on a dangerous trajectory, and if he continues suppressing his actual emotions, abstraction becomes a real possibility. Not likely to happen, but his mental state is deteriorating rapidly. Episode 7 needs to address this head-on. The question isn't whether Jax will face his demons, but whether he'll accept help when it's offered. Based on Ragatha's comment to him before her supposed death, she clearly understands what he's doing. She sees through the act. The final scene of episode 6 set up something crucial. Pomni and Ragatha are finally on the path to genuine friendship. Pomni's no longer the terrified newcomer from episode 1. She's adapted to the circus's chaos and now recognizes what matters, which is genuine connection with the people around her. Ragatha, meanwhile, has spent 6 episodes wearing a mask of forced positivity. Episode 5 isolated her completely, and episode 6 pushed her to her limit. The perpetually cheerful act is unsustainable, and she knows it. Episode 7 should finally show us the real Ragatha, unfiltered and authentic. Their dynamic in episode 7 will likely center on reaching out to Jax. They understand he's struggling, even if they don't know the full story yet. This is where Ragatha's knowledge about Ribbit becomes critical. If she shares what she knows about Jax's past with Pomni, it reframes everything about his behavior. The residents of the circus only see Jax's cruelty. They don't see the grief and self-preservation underneath. Pomni and Ragatha have the opportunity to bridge that gap, but only if Jax lets them in. That line Ragatha delivered to Jax is loaded with subtext. I know exactly what you're doing with Pomni. On the surface, it sounds like jealousy or protectiveness, but there's a darker implication. If my theory about Jax's role in Ribbit's abstraction holds weight, Ragatha isn't just worried about Jax corrupting Pomni's outlook. She's genuinely afraid he might cause another abstraction, intentionally or not. That's a heavy accusation, and it needs to be addressed directly in episode 7. Expect Ragatha to have a candid conversation with Pomni about Jax's history. This revelation will force Pomni to reconcile the antagonistic jerk she knows with the traumatized person underneath. It's a test of her empathy and her growth as a character. Kinger threw us a major curveball in the last episode. His sudden competence and those reality-bending moments with the butterfly have sparked 2 competing theories in the community. The first theory is that Kinger is somehow connected to the circus's creation. He's not as insane as he appears to be. The whole act might be deliberate misdirection, and his abilities suggest he has some kind of administrative access to the digital space that nobody else has. The second theory is that the butterfly incident reveals something fundamental about the circus itself. Maybe the residents have more agency than they realize. If Kinger can manipulate the environment, even if it's accidentally, what does that mean for everyone else trapped there? Either way, episode 7 needs to address this. Kinger's character has been comic relief with occasional moments of lucidity, but episode 6 elevated him beyond that. He's important to the larger narrative, and we need answers. Zubul and Gangle. These 2 are supporting players, but their dynamic matters. Gangle's therapy breakthrough in episode 6 suggests she's finally achieving stability regardless of which mask she's wearing. Zubul, characteristically, remains unchanged. That consistency is actually valuable. Not every character needs a dramatic arc. Their relationship provides a grounding element amid the chaos. Expect them to play supportive roles in episode 7 rather than driving the plot. What episode 7 needs to accomplish? Here's the bottom line. Episode 7 is essentially the setup for episode 8's payoff. There are several critical things it needs to accomplish to make that finale work. First, we need to see Jax actually confront his trauma and decide whether he's going to accept help from the people who care about him. This can't be glossed over anymore. Second, Pomni and Ragatha's friendship needs to solidify through this shared purpose of trying to reach Jax. Their bond has been building since the beginning, and this is where it becomes real. Third, the truth about Ribbit and what really happened with Jax needs to come out. The audience has pieces of this puzzle, but the characters don't, and that information is crucial for moving forward. Fourth, we need answers about Kinger's abilities and what they mean for everyone else in the circus. And finally, the stakes for this two-part finale need to be crystal clear by the end of episode 7. The Favorite Character Awards footage hinted at something significant regarding Jax's future interactions with the group. His arc is the fulcrum on which episode 7 balances. Get that right, and everything else falls into place. What makes the amazing digital circus stand out is how Glitch and Gooseworks have built a narrative where character development drives the plot, rather than the other way around. They're not just throwing random adventures at these characters to fill runtime. Every episode has been deliberately constructing the emotional foundation that episode 7 will build upon. Think about it. Episode 7 represents the culmination of 6 episodes worth of careful setup. Every interaction, every moment of vulnerability, every conflict has been leading to this point. Each character is now positioned for genuine transformation, but particularly Jax, Pomni, and Ragatha. These 3 are at the heart of what episode 7 needs to accomplish. We've spent 6 episodes watching these characters exist in a kind of holding pattern, dealing with adventures while avoiding the real issues underneath. Episode 7 is where that changes. The training wheels come off. The true story of the amazing digital circus begins here, and I don't think that's an exaggeration. Whatever happens in episode 7 will fundamentally reshape the dynamics we've come to expect from this show. The relationships will be different. The characters will be different. The stakes will be elevated in ways we haven't seen yet. And honestly, that's exactly what good storytelling should do. It should challenge both the characters and the audience to move beyond comfortable patterns and face uncomfortable truths. The 2-part finale structure of episodes 7 and 8 gives Glitch and Gooseworks the space to really explore these transformations without rushing. We're not going to get easy answers or quick fixes. These characters have real trauma to work through, and that takes time to do properly. So what do you think is going to happen in episode 7? Do you believe Jax will accept help from Pomni and Ragatha, or is he going to push them away and spiral further? What about Kinger's abilities? Is he connected to the circus's creation, or did he accidentally reveal something everyone can do? And most importantly, how do you think the truth about Ribbit is going to come out? Drop your theories in the comments below because I want to hear what you're thinking. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing digital circus analysis. I'll be covering episode 7 as soon as it drops, so turn on notifications so you don't miss it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.